Hi guys, I last month introduced Lenormand readings for February, March, and this month I'm going to do March and April for Gypsy. Some believe that Gypsy cards are actually the evolution of Lenormand cards. There are actually 52 cards in a deck versus 36 in regular Lenormand deck. So I'm going to do the grand tableau with all the cards on the table, where it's going to give us a whole bunch of situation and kind of possibilities. And it could be your story. It doesn't have to be your story because the energies are here from everybody who are actually viewing. So just keep in mind that the cards have their individual meanings, but interpretation of the cards in this big spread requires a deep understanding of how adjacent or associated cards influence the interpretation. Also, guys, take advantage of the two promotions, annual Taroscopes and right now it's a great time. They're right now on sale, so you're getting one sign for 10 bucks and all signs for 20, so you can check somebody else, or you can check your ascendant and Venus sign and Mars sign. So this is a great opportunity. But the best part of my special is my speed up promotion, so you are not waiting 3 weeks anymore for the readings. So I'm actually upgrading whatever the term was before, so 3 weeks is now 1 week, so becoming a rush reading, and the rush reading, which was week, is now 3 days. And if you really want an urgent reading, you're going to get it within 24 hours, and if you're North America, most likely the same day. So guys, check my website www.cattarot.ca for more information. You can also find me on Instagram and on Facebook, where I actually also publish daily Taroscopes. So let's jump in. Hi Sagittarians, and welcome to your March and April Gypsy Oracle reading. So, as I said to you in the introduction, some of people kind of consider this improvement or maybe even evolution from Lenormand, but this also kind of like can be seen completely as a different kind of thread. For example, Lenormand can give me the lay of the land and really good timing, where this can give me kind of like situations and people. And people, as we know, they have feelings and they have thoughts. So here we can kind of like dig out what they really think and what they really hope for, and if what they're saying is playing a game, or there's like still something really behind that we have to look into it. So there are like 4 major significators, and any one of them can be you regardless of gender. Another one can be a partner, so you'll kind of figure out what it is. So we have sweetheart, we have wife or woman, single woman with children, we have the lover, and we have the Lord. So I'm going to give you quite a few different storylines that I see here, and you guys run with this. I would really greatly appreciate if you can give me your comments, because I'm growing and these cards have so many combinations, it's not even possible to count them in this lifetime. Just imagine like I'm to encounter them. So kind of like if anybody tells you, oh, I know oracle cards and every combination, yeah, right, sure, not possible, okay? Just not possible, humanly not possible. It's like just telling me that I can tomorrow just travel to Mars. I'm going to get there in 1 day by walking. Not possible. Not right now. No, not possible. We don't have wings or special sonic, super duper sonic travel. So what I see here. Okay, so let's go person by person. Kind of like what is really intriguing to me is always I like to look in the positioning. So here we have a wife, and we have kind of like constellation, pardon me, reversed. We have surprise, we have thoughts reversed, we have jealousy reversed, we have old woman, money, and wedding reversed. But there is also a thief over here, and some thief who kind of like had a really fun with our life. Maybe somebody was lurking in the corners and pouncing on our partner, because we also have a waiting card over here, and also we have that card knighting the enemy. So this is certainly one of the possibilities over here. Now this room card here, it's kind of interesting, and you can see really how people really, what kind of level of politeness it was. For example, to call intimacy, they would call it room, because where are you intimate? You're intimate in the privacy of your own space, right? It's kind of really interesting because room and money both are showing kind of like the interior of something as well as the gift. So it also can talk about receiving guests, and also needs to talk about needing to reflect, which is the only I'm talking a lot today, only explanation that kind of makes sense to me in this configuration, right? It's a negative situation for some of you, where I said you were facing circumstances that have been hard, but it looks like this is just a tail end of this, where like I see the widow over here reversed right next to the old woman. So old woman, you could be like my old lady kind of a thing, right? Maybe some of you are married or have been in a very strong relationship and are still trying to hold on to that, right? You're not willing to kind of like just give up without a fight. But the others are saying que sera sera, and things usually don't work out for a reason, because you are like the Jupiter basically child, and like you are simply, Sagittarians are not known for this huge elaborate planning like the fixed signs would do. Sagittarians are sort of like looking at a small segment at a time, which can be really good because you're not really upsetting yourself too much, but it also could be bad because sometimes you go to a like basically dead end street for that reason, right? So it is kind of like really interesting that this kind of like room, like, and then we have old woman, messenger, and a journey, right? When this is combined with journey, right, it can talk about a hotel room, but something has been delayed. Maybe you guys plan to travel somewhere, and maybe that's going to be delayed. Maybe it's going to be something else that is kind of like coming in a way. And this period is going to be really revolving for you around money, or around settling the old debts, settling taxes, settling divorce procedures, child payments, whatever, right? When anything that kind of deals with something from the past. And I'm not so sure if this was a thing, it was reversed, because that kind of like make more sense. Something that has been waited for, maybe materialized, and it is easier to face the situation right now. But I would not say that the situation is negative, because this is something that just like didn't happen now. It looks like this is something from the past, because after all, there is like surprise card, which is very positive, because I'm going to show you here. Look at what he's doing. He kind of is fishing. Let me just try to zoom it in. And he's trying to get a fish to take it home, and it's like, keep in mind this is 18th century. And look what he got instead. Can you see it? 6 grand. This is like $6 million. So, hey, you know, sounds good, right? So maybe you didn't get what you wanted, but something did still happen in a situation that kind of like was kind of good consolation prize. Almost, it sounds to me, to be honest, because we also have this thought reversed. Somebody didn't think of something. Maybe somebody put a wrench into some kind of system. Somebody thought they had certain things figured, and you maybe said, well, not so quickly, and kind of like certain things happen. And at least maybe this is kind of like it was surprise, you know, and at least kind of like maybe gave you like some kind of like satisfaction, right? But definitely kind of like there was and it is continuing to be the time of reflection and time of kind of looking in. Sometimes though, and Saggies, you sometimes do that, kind of like there is a lack of consideration or lack of reflection, how these things kind of like really end up karmically. It does feel good in the moment, right? Especially if you're wronged, but sometimes it feels, because I said like you're not looking really big stretch, you're looking small segments, that maybe other people are harboring resentments for something from the past and reacting right now. So conversation is really good to take place, and this is Mercury retrograde time when this kind of like has to happen, because kind of like it's opening up opportunities to kind of rebuild that communication if for any reason kind of like needs to be there, right? It tells me that maybe something hasn't been like really properly thought through, and this card sometimes can be a warning that, you know, without thinking, you know, there'll be consequences. So kind of like really stop and think about what you're doing. So then it looks like there is like some other story over here, and I don't know if it's connected. It could be connected. As I said, it could be the third party situation over here, because that kind of like clearly indicates a thief and somebody running away with somebody like your ex. The enemy card generally talks about ex and him keeping secrets, and certain things are not going on, and some kind of vanity and things. Excuse me. And I have had a cold for about 8 days right now. Sometimes like the vanity card being reversed, something, and the widower is kind of like moving forward. But the interesting thing is like that this sweetheart is knighting this wife, so there is some kind of connection in this. Somebody was a friend, because look at here, we have the sweetheart and we have a lover. Could be the lover is this person who became free, and maybe something couldn't happen because they were married, and like you're blaming the other person who took your husband or wife away, or boyfriend and girlfriend, where the truth is it is him, because look, she is like right in the middle between that. Maybe it was some kind of friend. Maybe it was somebody who kind of like put this breath of hope in this person, maybe completely from a different sidelines, and things kind of continue. But the interesting thing here is that they are kind of not together. I mean, you maybe think this was going on, and maybe that was kind of wrench that you put it in. Maybe kind of like it separated them. But like, did you really win? Well, you didn't get it, so when I don't get it, let's make sure that nobody else gets it. It can be seen this way. But this person feels stuck, because look at here, I have the prison and I have the priest, and sometimes that indicates marriage. Prison certainly also can be marriage, just like the wedding card. And when the prison is right next to this, like this person was kind of probably waiting for this person to have this clarity and say, look, dude, I'm not dealing with you until you have your situation kind of cleared. But as far as this lover, but there is going to be this communication or insistence. Some of you will really kind of like be very determined to kind of figure it out. Some of you will be really looking into, where do I stand? Who is the person around me? What is making me happy? Who are the people who are making, who is my friend? Who is my enemy? Which people are making me upset? And it looks like it's going to be lots of dedication in this period to your job, to money. You have the money, you have messenger, you have constancy. All really good. So kind of like mostly positive situation, let's put it this way. There's like still some kind of connection to the past. There's like still something that is lingering, but not too much. So there is this connection with this person who is coming up with reunion, but he is reversed. It's kind of like really bizarre. Somebody knocking on your door saying, hey, you know, I missed you, I love you, but then I don't want to stay, and they mess up all over again. Kind of like those situations when this happens. Or realization this person is actually not making us as happy, or maybe somebody presenting themselves as I'm the gift to you, and then ha ha ha, off you go, dude, right? Kind of like it's going to be really interesting because the doctor here is like there is something that is happening over here, right? And when this card reverses, it talks about it's just the person we trust is really no help, or can even hinder the successful resolution of the problem, of the crisis. Like, as I said, somebody who instead of like trying to kind of like come and get closer to us, instead kind of like does some kind of like crappy thing that just like basically sends us like running for basically for the hills, right? It can talk about person who is closed-minded. It can talk about a person who actually feels victimized, where maybe they kind of created injuries, and maybe the situation was back and forth, and they just like want to assign the blame, which definitely talks about lack of that 360 situation. So that definitely situation, when this shows up, can lead to being misled. Maybe somebody's saying, oh, I'm done, all right, oh, I don't care about this, the past is the past. And that's not the case, which simply can mean they actually don't know themselves very well, or they're not capable of doing it, or they don't understand it on the level that you understand it, that you hope for. So the healing has to take place, right? But the interesting part is that there is love there. Whether or not, so remember this, whether or not this person comes across one way or the other, like I'm seeing the love card, and the love card is upright, and communication of this love. This is definitely something from the past that kind of like didn't take off in the past. So there is a possibility finally of talking about that. There, like at the very least, some of you here, or the partner that you're cross-watching for, is going to be open, probably in kind of like going in different directions, because this person here is a little bit confused. I have to tell you, look what they have friend, they have sorrow, they have reunion, they have fortune, then they have this like frivolity reverse, conversation, melody, child reverse, constancy, and the priest reverse. So how to summarize? Doctor, as I told you, somebody who really actually doesn't know they're doing, in fact, that their actions are creating more damage than help. Conversation is the key, and maybe conversation with this friend. Maybe this relationship was never meant to be a love relationship, or it cannot be a love relationship at this moment because it's still not defined, and only friendship can exist. And maybe one person doesn't want a friendship only, and hence it is like kind of like that catch-22. What do I do in this situation? Again, this could be you, Sagittarius, because the fortune card is right next to it, and kind of like you kind of like are riding those coattail of, you know, I'm in love and love conquers everything. But then again, this is kind of interesting where this kind of like evolves. If something doesn't happen the way you had it in your head, then you have falseness reversed, the death reversed, and then the misfortune. I don't know, it looks like there is some kind of like fallout that can happen if things are not really thought through. So don't do anything in a rush. So this guy here, which is one of the last stories, has a foe over here. Right here we saw the enemy from the past. So I do see that, yes, there was this person, something lingered, but in this case they are not together. But they are together in thoughts, and that's kind of like really what is interesting, because look what they have around. They have melancholy, they have this merchant, but looking reverse, things are not moving, things are not successful. Then also have the doctor and the baby reversed. It means something is just like not growing and not progressing, and depression, and kind of like tired of waiting. This could have been also a long distance, and simply not able to understand on a possible intellectual level what's going on, in which direction to take. So there is the sense of feeling stuck. It's not going to be very painful but it's going to be, you know, that literally that Mercury retrograde feeling when all of a sudden you think, well, is that the one that I missed? Is this the one that got away? Am I making a mistake by not addressing it? So it's going to be really interesting, guys. So I don't know which one of these storylines is you, or if any. It would be great to hear. Just don't run away with some new situation, because I see this guy here, he might actually go and get himself involved with somebody, and frankly this really spells to me like STD, because I have misfortune in the house. Be very, very careful, because some looks like that one night excursion somewhere which can kind of like some people make to kind of like make themselves feel happy in the moment. Other person finds out and that's it. You're not getting other chance. So be very careful to think before you jump. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for your time. I would really appreciate to if you can give me your 2 cents, your comments, and if you subscribe, like and share, and even dislike if that's kind of like how you feel about it. And actually I really like dislike comments, because it's kind of interesting conversation that we have over here. And if you want your private reading, as I said, this is very general, contact me at www.cattarot.ca. And until the next time, I love you very much, guys. All the best.